Hello and welcome back. Today we'll be discussing multiplication and how you deal with multiplication when you're dealing with fractions. Okay, so let's start with our example problem over here. So let's say we have 2 by 7 multiplied with 3 by 5. Now these are two fractions that we have and we're supposed to find out what the result is. Okay, so the thing when you're multiplying fractions is that, as you know, there's something called the numerator and there's something called the denominator. The numerator is on the upper side. The denominator is usually the lower portion. Now, the way you multiply it is you have the numerators being multiplied with each other, and similarly you have the denominators multiplied with each other, like normal multiplication, like 7 multiplied with 5, as you can see right now, and that is basically how you get your resultant fraction. So let's actually try to solve this problem. Now let's take out our numerators. 2 times 3 equals 6. Okay, so what do you do after you find out what the result is after multiplication? You just put it on the resultant side. Okay, and exactly on the numerator side, because you multiply the numerator, you get the numerator. Now the denominator side, 7 times 5 is equal to 35, and then you put the 35 over there. Now you also have another optional stuff that you can find out. It's actually nice to simplify whatever fraction you have, and over here in this case this fraction is actually simplified, so you don't need to do anything about it. But if you have the option, you actually should do this, because it's a nice practice, and people like to have simplified stuff. So fractions look pretty damn nice when they're simplified. So but you don't actually have to do this. It's just an optional thing. Now let's do our second example. Over here we have like 4 fractions. 1 by 2 multiplied with 3 by 5 multiplied by 7 by 3 multiplied by 2 by 4. Okay. Now, even though we have 4 fractions over here, we're going to do the same thing. We have the numerators being multiplied with the numerators and denominators being multiplied with the denominators. So let's actually try to do this. 1 times 3 is equal to 3, and 7 times 2 is equal to 14. Okay, so now 14 times 3, we get the answer equal to 42. Now we put this answer over onto our resultant side. Okay, so this is going to be the numerator of our result, and now it's the turn for us to do the denominator side. Now let's take out the denominators and let's try to solve this. 2 times 5 is equal to 10, and 3 times 4 is equal to 12. Now 10 times 12 is equal to 120, and then we put the answer over on the denominator side. Okay, now you can optionally, as I previously said, do the simplification, and we're going to do this right now. And one really easy way to do this is by putting 42 divided by 120 into your calculator. I did that and I got 7 by 20. Okay, now there are actually other ways, normal, simpler, no, actually not, they're not simpler, but they don't require a calculator. So, but there is actually also another way that you can do this, and that is by actually solving the question at hand because it is multiplication, and you do know that you can cancel out the same numbers on the opposite sides of the spectrum, right? Or the denominators can cancel out the numerator if you know they have the same number. So we can actually do the same thing over here. We can cancel out the 2's. Now what else? Now what other number do you see that is common on both the numerator and the denominator? And I think you probably guessed that right. 3. Yes. So we're going to take out the 3's, and then what we are left with is this thing. 7 divided by 5 into 4. Now, what is 5 times 4? Well, that is equal to 20. So look, we have the same answer, but it required less amount of calculation. So it's actually always nice to have this method to solve the problem using this method, because the reason is that you don't have to do a lot of work, and it's really easy to just like cancel out all of the numbers that are on the numerator and the denominator side. Okay, so that is all there is to it. And thank you for watching, and I really hope you learned something.